Now let him get it. Let him get it. If you have an opening precept, that'll do. All right, roll.
It's live now.
Shalom. We want to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim preaching His word in truth and sincerity and faith. We're the brothers from the GMS Plaintables camp, and we're coming in the Rahak Quadash, the Holy Spirit, to do an open forum, basically. So if any brother got an opening precept, you can bring it out. Boom.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, read it.
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon a high mountain, exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. Let me keep going. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains like as of a great people. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua mustereth the host of the battle.
Start from the top.
This is Amos chapter 13, verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon a high mountain.
Right, a banner is a warning, okay? In this case, it represents the Holy Scriptures, okay? That's the message. That's what we're coming out of. That's the banner that we're lifting up, man, okay? The prophecies, the end of the world, okay? Which is the end of the Edomites, which is the so-called white man's rulership here on the earth and all the rest of the nations. All right, we're lifting up that high banner, letting the world know that evil is going to be extinguished, okay? Whether it's the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, which the nation of Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? The heathen, beginning with the chief heathen on the planet right now, which is you Edomites, okay? You Hebrew Edomites, which you're not white, you're red. All right, we're talking about the coming of Yahushua, whom the world ignorantly knows as Jesus Christ, which is a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah, which is coming to destroy, okay, Babylon, mystery Babylon, okay, and deliver his elect of the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
God.
That's the high banner, okay, the Holy Scriptures and everything in it.
God. It says, lift ye up a banner, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also
sanctified ones. All right. When you go into the word sanctified, it means to be separated. All right. Or deemed holy. We're the sanctified ones. The Lord gave us of His Holy Spirit so we can teach the Holy Scriptures. All right. We've been given commandment like the prophets before us. All right, through the Holy Spirit, we've been given commandment to teach. All right, and not just give me Jeremiah 1:5, or no, not you get it. One of you brothers get Jeremiah 1:5. All right, not just you got it? Yeah, come. Not just to our people alone. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
Right, the men that you see before you, pan the camera, you know, the men that you see before you, man, beginning with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, we've been sanctified through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to teach this word. Okay, unto whom? Continue to read.
Then I said, Ah, Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, behold, I cannot speak.
Slack, read 5 again. Read 5 again. Slack.
Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
Right, so we're a prophet unto all nations. So we've been given the responsibility of our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, as a royal priesthood, to tell all nations what the prophecies of the Lord are concerning them. Okay? We teach Israel what belongs unto Israel. We teach Edom what belongs unto Edom. We teach the Hagawayam of the nations what belongeth unto them. And the future for you Edomites and you heathen nations is not so bright. Why? Because the scriptures talks about your demise, your downfall, when you're going into captivity under the Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to our respective tribes. Okay? That message is what we teach. That's the message of the Holy Scriptures, amongst many others. Okay? And that message has to go through the four corners of the earth in order for us to be risen back up and the Lord to come to deliver his elect. And that's pursuing the Matthew's 24th chapter. All right, that's reread that again, and then the brother gonna take it back.
Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
Right, and that links back to reincarnation, because when you go into the book of 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter, it talks about the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets, you know? The only reason why we have this understanding is the Lord gave it to us and predestinated us from the beginning and the foundations of the world to receive this truth. That's why we have this. The rest of the world don't have this, man. Okay? The Holy Spirit is also known as the Spirit of Truth. The reason why we've been given this truth is because we represent Yahweh Bashim Yahushua here on earth. Okay? So it's our duty, our obligation, and out of willingness and fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to do this ministry, to do this work, to defend the gospel, and to feed the Lord's sheep. All right, go back to Isaiah.
I got a precept real quick.
All right, go.
This
If,
is
if you brothers got precepts, man, like I said, don't be shy. Just call them out. All right. I'm throwing it back to you, brother, after he reads.
Ezekiel 25 and no, Salaki. Not 25 though, but Ezekiel 35. That was the spirit then. Says 35 and 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it.
Right, Mount Seir. Okay, another name for Mount Seir is America. Okay, which the rulers of this country and really of the world, pursuant to Job 9 and 24, the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. All right, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Are you Edomites? So it's specifically referring to you Edomites, but it's also referring to your dominions, your rulership. It says prophesy against it. Okay, continue to read.
It says, and say unto it, thus saith Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee.
Yeah, so we are standing in the face, all right, of those who afflicted us in great boldness, declaring to you that you're at your end. Okay, you were given a period of time to rule. You've done nothing but oppress the Lord's people, oppress the Lord's creation in its entirety. We're talking the air, we're talking the animals, we're talking the earth. You're even up there defiling space, man. You have defiled everything under your rulership, everything under your dominion, everything under the power that has been given to you on the left-hand side. You have done nothing but ruled wickedly with it. So the Lord is against you. You red Hebrew Edomites. The Lord is against you. So therefore, it is the responsibility of the men of the Lord to prophesy against you. What does that mean? We're here to tell you your downfall. And it's going to come by way of death and destruction, famine, pestilence, and plague. And the ultimate plague, the ultimate pestilence that's going to take you out of power is going to be them thermonuclear missiles. Because there's no way you're going to escape World War III, man. Okay? Even if you could, you can't escape the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And there's a commandment that says, when Yahushua comes, he's going to take vengeance, and he shall not meet thee as a man. So even if you could somehow miraculously, which is impossible, but we're humoring the idea, even if it was possible for you to convince the nations otherwise to not use nuclear missiles, the Lord himself with his mighty angels will come back and destroy your ass anyway. Because that's what's written in the prophecies. And what you fail to realize is the Lord got you in a trick bag. Okay? Because on the one hand, he's giving you great power, dominion. You got your influence politically, economically, and militarily all around the world. But it was only for a time. And the Lord allowed you to build yourself up like he did Pharaoh, just to literally to bring you down and destroy you. And all these different agreements and arrangements that you have with the other nations will be disannulled and made void also according to prophecy. Okay, and we have supporting scriptural evidence to back up everything that I'm saying. Go ahead. That's part of prophesying against Mount Seir. Because the ones that are really in power are you international bankers, you elite, of you Edomites, of you so-called white people. And you're starting to see everything crumble right before your very eyes. That's why the Spirit had me do a video. I know brothers before me, I think the Apostle Tahar even did a video on it. I know some other brothers did a video on it about the CEO of Bank of America calling for a cashless society. They're getting more aggressive with the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast and its technology, because he knows he has a short time. He knows that tensions around the world are brewing and stirring, man, and they're coming for his ass. So he knows that he has to make one last final attempt, one last hurrah to try to get this new world order that they've been trying for a very long time, as a matter of fact, to implement for total control as a means to upset prophecy. But everything that you do and every move that you make and every advancement towards coming after the Lord's people is another moment closer to your destruction and downfall, and is a part of the prophecies anyway. So again, the Most High got you in the trick, man. Go ahead. So what?
Kind of says, and say unto it, thus saith Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I was
Come up here.
and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
I will make thee most desolate. And the way that the Lord is going to do that is ultimately through thermonuclear fire. Okay? World War III. But before that can take place, okay, other prophecies have to come to pass. We got Jacob's trouble, which is the time where the Lord is going to allow these Edomites to come down heavily on you Israelites, man. All right, we're talking martial law. We're talking about the complete shutdown of these cities. All right, well, you're not going to be able to access the cities. You're not going to be able to access different provisions, food, water. They're going to be ripping you out of your houses, man. It's recorded in the prophecies. It says that they shall be as madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying. Okay, so we are living in the succession of the end times, and everything that the Lord said for us to look for, we're seeing happen right before our very eyes. Give me Habakkuk chapter 2, and start at verse 4.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Right, talking about you Edomites. You're lifted up because you're the most proudest nation on the planet. And the Lord built you up in that pride by giving you certain levels of military strength, political gain, economic gain, right? The scriptures record you as a thief that cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. All right? So you have literally been the sword of the Most High to bring down judgment upon basically everybody. But the problem is you were only meant to rule for a certain period of time. And then your means and methods are demonic and wicked and all on the left-hand side, to the point where the Lord does have to cut you down. Because it wasn't meant for you to rule forever. All right? As a matter of fact, the world was made for the nation Israelites' sake, man. And the Lord is basically fulfilling prophecy and judgment against us for breaking his law, statutes, and commandments. All right? So it's really for what we did that we are having to experience all this evil before us, man. Ask any one of these brothers, man, how vexing it is to live in this polluted society, man. Homosexuals, all right, lesbians, excuse me.
Lesbianism.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Transsexuals, man, walking around proudly, you know? You got women that fucking acting like men out here. Women boasting themselves, riding the cock carousel, all right, as it's known in the MGTOW community, okay? They just going from man to man to man. You got nothing but adultery and whoredom and idolatry out here, man, and it's completely vexing to the men of the Lord who have been woken up to this truth. All right? This is what we are surrounded with. All right? We don't want to be in this kingdom no more, man. We want this kingdom to be destroyed. So it's with great pleasure, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that we get to prophesy against our enemies, okay? You Edomites, Mount Seir. What did I call for? Habakkuk 2, right? Yeah, so that's you Edomites, man. You're lifted up because of that pride. All right? But the Lord's going to cut you off all the same. Go ahead.
But the just shall live by his faith. Yeah, also because he transgressive by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Come on. All right, go back to that. All right.
So Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 3. Well, verse 4. I will lay thy cities waste and
Actually, you know what? Slack you, brother. Go up to Habakkuk 2 and 3.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak.
Right, so we're at the point where all these prophecies are speaking. You know? The prophecy on the RFID microchip, it's speaking. You know, at one time, the technology wasn't so prevalent in our society. Now it's everywhere. If it's not in your smartphone, through near-field communication, it's in your debit and credit card, okay? It's prevalent, it's present everywhere. It's at airports, all right? At airports, it's in, one of you brothers can speak on this if y'all take the transportation here in the city. They went to them chip cards now. Set the keys. All right, which are equipped with an RFID microchip. All right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, we're doing SIM card here.
Yeah. But the whole point is them contactless payments, because the ultimate form of that is the RFID microchip. You know?
Yeah, the contactless is just working up to the full chip.
That's it.
Yeah, they got it. They even got it in the Apple watches.
Yep.
iPhone Apple watches. The Samsung watches.
Yeah, yeah.
Which one of my family members once on Target, Apple Pay.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I'm
hard.
seeing that more often too. Yeah.
And he tapped on the thing.
That's
and
it.
automatically paid, and it said approve. Got the receipt gone.
Right.
Then the Apple watch was beat.
Right.
Ready for your hand.
Which these particular devices and cards are not the mark of the beast itself. The actual mark of the beast is the RFID microchip that they want to implement in the skin. But it is the same technology, and they're incrementally, basically progressing and moving and advancing towards that. That's the end goal, so to speak. Right?
Did you say some certain credit cards are told, certain tolls or whatever?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so the technology is everywhere. I mean, if we did a quick search, we would see all the different uses of either near-field communication or contactless forms of paying. All right. You actually got through your different mobile apps digital coupons. You know, where you scan QR codes. All right. You can literally send virtual text messages to send money back and forth. So everything is becoming a part of the Internet of Things, essentially,
wireless.
and becoming digital. And the ultimate build-up, the ultimate form, the be-all of that will be the RFID microchip, which is the market.
Key fobs, these are.
Yep, key fobs. Yep, they have their equipment chips.
Just like paying fitness going cashless. Whoever not paying fitness membership is in the email to me. They going cashless in
Got it.
August.
Yeah, man. So that's it. And like I mentioned earlier,
Bank of America.
Bank of America's CEO announced we want a cashless society. That was a statement. All right. I believe 8% of the world's currency is all digitized anyways. So that just goes to show you how much physical cash is actually being utilized. Because everything is stored in a database. So it's already digital. All they have to do is, through whatever method they're going to utilize, is to completely rule cash out.
It's only 8%?
It's only 8%. We can look it up right now. I just was looking at that. 8% of the world's currencies is actually physical. The rest of it is completely held in a digital database.
Oh, you mean 8% is cash?
Exactly.
Obviously,
No.
Yeah,
If I misspoke, it's 8% is physical. The rest is all digital in the database. All right. So that just goes to show you the level at which this is going. You have anything else to say on that? Or you want to bring some?
yeah, I mean, RFIDs are very simple technology that's everywhere. You got the example of key fobs, if you have a car.
Credit cards, debit cards.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Yeah, it is convenient. But that's how
That's
they
how they
want
gonna
to
fall.
deceive so many people because of convenience.
Yep.
Sick.
And RFID microchips prophesied.
And it's kind of
Scriptures.
it's kind of useless for them, Salaki. It's kind of useless for them to even have the magnetic strips anymore, because when you go to make a payment, you can't use that as an alternative unless, of course, they're chip readers now. So why they even have that as an option makes little to no sense at this point. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when you go to use the magnetic strip, it'll decline the card anyways, especially if their chip reader's working.
Yeah, it took like a long time for Wawa to convert to that chip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, certain convenience stores, it did take them a little while, but now everything is advancing and progressing and becoming more aggressive because we're at that time, you know? And I remember distinctively one of Donald Trump's campaign promises is he wanted to improve telecommunications, and that all ties into everything becoming a part of the Internet of Things, you know? So it's, remember, he was one of the main ones who came out and said, look, we need to get out ahead of 5G. We need to be the first nation heading this whole thing.
Verizon already had the fiber optic going around. Now Comcast is expanding their fiber. The hybrid system they have now, they have a part hybrid, part coaxial, part fiber system now. They're just, especially in suburban areas, they're putting on fiber around.
See, I mean,
copper.
so it's all around us, man. It's just where it's leading to. So you have to be spiritually retarded to deny the fact that the so-called white man wants to implement the RFID microchip, and then we have the scriptural evidence to substantiate everything.
And there's judgment for that too. It's not just that they want heaven, it's going to be judgment
That's
for
it.
doing that.
That's it.
Because that's
Well, the whole world will be tried with that. As a matter of fact. All right, come back. You got a precept? All right, go ahead.
2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. Lest Satan should get advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices.
Yeah, so we're not the men of the Lord. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We see everything he's trying to do through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. We're constantly watching the news. We're constantly comparing and contrasting to the scriptures. So we're not ignorant of Satan's devices.
Look at the word device.
Do what?
Purpose and application.
The word devices is Noah Ma, the blue letter. It says a mental perception, thought, an evil purpose that which things the mind thought for purposes.
And his evil purpose is to control you and know everything that you're doing through his chip, you know, to monitor you and to control your every movement.
Yourself. Like I said before, it's judgment for implementing that the control mark. Basically, what it is a control mark. It's Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Those are the wicked words. When he is about to fill his belly, is the point. The power shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
So right before he's able to implement that new world order, it's all his plans, the Most High is gonna, you know, cast fire and fury upon him. You know, that fire and brimstone, that nuclear missile.
That's going to be the judgment of, for taking the Lord's people unto yourself, procuring the other nations as your property, which all souls belong to Yahweh Shai. But Esau went at that chip, so as a statement that he controls every human resource on the planet, that's a blasphemy. That's a wicked, filthy act. All right. I had a precept, Job 15 chapter. The judgment, he's speaking about judgment. Esau's not going to get away with this. Job 15, and it says, he shall, 15:33, he shall shake off his unripe grapes as the vine. Right? Like I said before, Esau is not going to fully implement his new world order, which is to control every human resource, including the humans. All right? And shall cast off his flower as the olive. When the congregation of the hypocrite shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery.
Kind of like I was saying, that's that judgment for his wickedness, for his evil devices. And he's like,
They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. All right, Esau, Edom. All right, sometimes when you read and break down the scriptures, it might give you a judgment, and then it might go back in time for when you did evil. And that's what it did right here. It told you Esau was going to be destroyed by fire, and then it started talking about his wickedness again. All right. So, tabernacle, the congregation of the hypocrites, which is that's clearly Esau Edom. That's clearly Esau Edom. Esau's a perfect actor. They make the best actors because they have multiple personalities. They can pretend to be anybody. All right. For the congregation of the hypocrites shall be desolate, meaning destroyed, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. All right. And how did Esau get control of the other nations? By paying them off. All right. Shachad, present of bribe. That's how Esau over here in the West bribed the other nations with their bribed the nations through the military and the riches they got through slavery. All right. And we paid the other nations off, the different European nations. Even Russia. They're all part of this big trade union. All right, even the Moabites, Ammonites. It says, "The fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery." All right, bribery is shachad, a bribe of present. You can't get around that. That's an adventure. Esau is the bribe, the briber. Okay, the person, the financier, the demon, the devil is handing out the bribes. All right, which you can call trade agreements or whatever. Mutual defense pacts.
Yeah.
Whatever agreements that they have with the other agreements Esau has with the other heathen, those are bribes. All right. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity. Some of their vanity is being financiers to smaller nations, stealing their resources. They can't pay the loans back. But they totally destroyed the island of Puerto Rico hundreds of years before they even founded America by Christopher Columbus. I believe it was Christopher Columbus stealing all the gold from the island, taking it back to Europe. Where Esau had control at that time. Esau didn't always have control of the seats, royal seats, dukes, and kings. Esau didn't always have those seats, but through death and marriages, intermarriages, Israelites that controlled the king, the seats of the high office over there, you look through intermarriage and death. And usurpers, that's how Esau got the thrones back in different European principalities. They weren't originally ruling those lands in Europe. But they stole all the gold from Puerto Rico in different, not all of it, but the great majority of it, from which our people couldn't benefit. Right? But it was meant for Esau to get it anyway. Right? We weren't going to benefit from it. We take that back. That was Esau, the Lord gave that to Esau. That's his consolation. He received his judgment by being the devil.
Yeah, I got a preset for you.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the book of Genesis. Here, this is Genesis.
Yeah, the wicked according to the Bible is Esau. Esau Edom.
That's it.
Right. And the Bible consistently repeats it over and over again about this wicked root that's in the world and is destroying the earth. All right. And it's not every nation under the heavens. You have one nation that does everything, and then it trickles down to the other nations. They learn their wickedness from the main heathen, the head of the heathen, which are the Edomites. Esau, Edom.
This is It's like this is Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. So then Esau said unto his father, hast thou for one blessing my father blessed me, even me also, O my father? And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Alright, so the fatness of the earth has gone to Esau. Esau has the fatness of the earth, maybe he has control of all the resources. Maybe he doesn't have direct control, he has indirect control. Like what they did with Afghanistan and Iraq. They have all the minerals in Afghanistan, that's why they went to Afghanistan. And oil in Iraq, that's why they went into Iraq. They're trying to go into Iran because they have the oil. And that's the one, I think that's the last nation that they said they were going to conquer in the Middle East.
Iran.
It was,
You said Iran?
yeah, Iran,
Yeah.
yeah. It was the last nation they were going to conquer in the Middle East. Out of, I believe, like 8 nations they were going to top on.
Yeah.
It was Egypt, Syria was one. Well, they still didn't conquer Syria. The Russians backed them up. So, the scriptures tell you about every Egyptian era and every work thereof. So, the thing that Esau tries to accomplish is not going to be able to accomplish to the fullest like he used to be able to do. Alright. That was in the maritime spirit I had off that. But that's what we're talking about is identifying who Esau is. Esau is the devil. Esau Edom. We know who it is. We know his nationality. Esau Edom is the devil that the Bible speaks of. His crimes are still red, still valid. We haven't forgotten anything. Just because we haven't gone through hardcore slavery don't mean we're not being oppressed. Doesn't mean that there's not a judgment coming. Judgment is still going to come. All right, we can't escape it. Just because we want to get our backs physically whipped in slavery don't mean we're not going to inherit the judgment. We're going to reap the benefits of Esau's destruction. There's an analogy when the Romans went against native Europeans to war with them to take their nation, take the top of their nations. It took decades to do that. All right, Julius Caesar started it, and then with Tiberius and other nations, they held it down. They still rebelled against the latter kingdoms hundreds of years later. So they shouldn't blame. They should be blaming Julius Caesar then, because he the one that started it. They just established the dominion. Tiberius, Nero, all the other Roman emperors after. They just kept the dominion afloat. But Julius Caesar started the war against those native Europeans, Japheth. All right? Yeah, both of them are guilty. Who started it, who still have those slaves, those current slaves in the present. They're guilty too. They're just as guilty as the person that started the war hundreds of years ago. So the same thing goes for us. In 1492, or in the late 1400s, there was a papal bull that said that all of the resources that they find in the New World belong to the crown, the Spanish crown, or to some countries in Europe. I believe it was the Spanish king and queen or whatever they said that all the riches that they find belong to the crown. That was just so the Pope could get a donation, which he was going to get a generous donation. So they reaped all those benefits. They reaped all those benefits. So we're going to reap all the benefits. When Esau, Edom is destroyed, we're going to reap all the benefits, all right? Because we are our ancestors in the incarnation. And we're their project anyway, even if we weren't our ancestors. We're their project anyway. And we have the right to inherit, just like their children have the right to inherit some wickedness, all right?
Yeah, this is Second Ezra chapter 11, verses 42. I'm sorry, 41. It says, "For the earth hast thou not judged with truth." Read that again. Second Ezra 11:41. "For the earth hast thou not judged with truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. It says, therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. This is really talking about the Roman Empire, but America is an extension of the Roman Empire. Okay? So you Edomites, you're going to have to pay for all the sins of your forefathers and all the sins that you've committed even today, irregardless. But what they did generationally.
Wasn't Isaac circumcised?
Yeah.
Originally, he was the contractor. Well, Abraham, original contractor.
I mean,
He took a circumcised
Esau's
Isaac.
sins goes back as far as slaying his brother Abraham. There's so many things that this, and that, hey, look, for all
Serpent.
y'all that can't understand, yeah, going back to the serpent in the Garden of Eden, there's so many, if you can understand reincarnation, look, that's not on us. The scriptures say if our gospel be hated, it's hid to them that are lost. All right? We're just telling you like it is. The sins of the so-called white man, the Edomite, the serpent, the snake, the devil, okay, in the physical realm, whose spiritual father is Satan, has a lot to pay for, man. You Edomites have a lot to pay for. You're the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Is that not plain to see? Is that not why you're all around the world, like the brother was going into, stealing and killing and destroying and trying to regulate resources, policing the entire earth, telling people what they can and cannot do wickedly? You got to pay for that. I'm going to read this last precept, and then you got it, brother, all right? I know you got a precept, too. We're just going to go in succession, and we got to get back to Isaiah. Or you read also something else, too.
Yeah, Ezekiel.
Second Ezra chapter 11, verses 43. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. It says, the highest have also looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. Right, so hey, look, the Lord has appointed you a time to rule, and that time also has an end, and you're going to have to foot the bill for all the sins of your present, your past, all right? And anything that the Lord allows you to do moving into the future, you're going to have to pay for it. Okay, there's consequences for your actions. Like the scripture saying in the book of Psalms, thou thought that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. Okay? So you will have to pay. Alright, go ahead, brother.
So this is Job 20:15. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly. It's Job 20:15. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly.
So Esau has, swallowed up all the riches of the earth, by going through other people's lands and taking all their resources. But he's gonna vomit them up, and who's gonna take them up? The nation of Israel. First and foremost, the elect men, and then the rest of the nation of Israel.
It's Isaiah.
Oh, the brother right there got a piece of.
This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, and double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities.
Yeah, so these Edomites, they think Yahweh Bashem Yahushua doesn't see all the atrocities, the iniquities that they're committing. They think they're getting off scot-free, but they're not. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua sees them.
Right, like the parallel is, like the longer you continue to do a particular behavior and nothing happens to you, you think to yourself, I'm good, I'm straight, nothing happened to me yet, I'm good, You blazing, you just doing your thing, man. You settle, you complacent.
You're gonna wax worse and worse.
Right.
The longer you get away with something, you're gonna see what else you can get away with.
Right, and you know what makes me think of a piece that comes to mind is Ecclesiastes, man. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, it is therefore set in the hearts of men to be evil. Loosely paraphrased. And that's the mindset of Esau. Completely proud, lifted up like we read in the book of Habakkuk. He ain't turning back now. Even though there's certain of his counterparts that are feeling remorseful. Look, there ain't no amount of reparations or sorries or apologies that you could possibly give. All right? The world was made for our sakes. So, hey man, blood, all right? That's what the Lord requires. If you spill innocent man's blood, that land is therefore defiled. And the law states that the only way to make it right is that that blood has to be shed. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about rightfully inheriting what is ours through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, beginning with our Lord and Savior Yahushua. You don't think Yahushua don't want vengeance for what was done to him when he was put up on the cross? Is it not written of Yahushua that he's coming back to subdue all the kingdoms of the earth? You mean to tell me because some fucking sorry-ass Edomites, because that's exactly what you are, some sorry-ass Edomites all of a sudden apologetic, and talking about reparations, that the Lord is going to all of a sudden extend his hands to our enemies and say, you know what, forget about it, y'all are good. What? Ain't going to happen, man. Salaki, ain't going to happen. Except the slander of the Lord shall be many. Oh, well, we got to get back to prophesy against Mount Seir, man.
Yeah.
For the Lord is against Mount Seir. Go ahead. We're going to move away. Like right in here. I don't want to be.
Don't block it here.
It's too much for me.
It's melting, man.
Ezekiel,
Nah, I'm not trying to be greedy. One over
You can go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 25.
there. Lift up your voice a little bit out.
Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, thus the Lord Yahweh.
God, so the Most High is going to use his elect men to lay out that vengeance upon the nation of Edom, using giving the men that power, the spiritual power, and we're gonna completely destroy his kingdom. We're gonna take over his rulership, like it says in Daniel, I believe, 7:18. It says
The saints of the Most High shall take the
the
kingdom.
saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. We're gonna take it by force. We're not gonna take it through protesting or doing none of that nonsense. We're gonna take it by force.
Yeah, well, I got a precept for you on that. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come, referring to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, this truth, okay? And we are to be immovable, okay? It says, and he that over, basically enduring to the end, okay? Till the Lord delivers us. And staying faithful and remaining integral to the faith. It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with the rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
So like I was saying before, the elect men are going to receive that power to rule over these nations, the spiritual power. There's not going to be anything they can do to fight against us. They're not going to start up, make up weapons and try to start wars against us. They're not going to have any chance against the men of the Lord.
Yahushua said in the latter end of that verse, even so as I received of my Father, because the power and the dominion, all right, and the rulership of thereof belongeth unto Yahushua first and foremost, right? And then we will receive the inheritance, okay, upon his return, and we will be perfected as we're being beamed up, Lord willing, with those men, right? So this is Romans 8 and 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, and if children, then heirs. Heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach Yahushua, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. So basically, we're going to inherit, all right, power through Yahushua. We're going to become those gods ultimately under Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Where, like you're saying, brother, we're going to receive the power and the dominion through our Lord and Savior, through Yahushua. We're going to inherit those same rights, man.
Acts chapter 1 and verse 8. For But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost is come upon you. Ye shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem, and all Judea, and all Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
Yeah, it's powerful, man. So even back then, they were given spiritual power. Okay, they were given certain abilities. So in like manner, these times that we're living in now, the Lord is going to pour out His Spirit amongst certain different brothers who are part of the Lord's elect with different abilities, healing abilities, abilities to rebuke demons out of individuals, okay, raising the dead, making the lame whole, okay, healing the sick, all right, as well as having the strength over our enemies. The Lord said that, well, the brother can get it, that He was going to make our feet like hinds feet, okay, and put us in the stead of basically David, okay, who was a mighty and powerful warrior after the Most High's heart, okay, concerning warfare, okay, and concerning spiritual things, all right? Go ahead.
Oh, just real quick. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp thrashing instrument having teeth.
Woo.
Thou shalt thrash the mountains and beat them small, and make the hills as chaff.
Yeah, the governments and the leaders, okay, around the world, not just Edom, but all the nations, man. All right? That's what the mountains and hills represent, because we're going to be taking their leaders, okay, their presidents, their fucking prime ministers, their different sub-governments, and we're going to round them up and we're going to put them in slavery. And Esau will be bound, okay, and serve his term for 1,000 years, and then eventually be rounded up and burnt and eradicated as a nation. Same thing with the other nations, only the other nations aren't going to be completely eradicated. They're going to serve a 1,000-year period, and then they're going to start to receive certain blessings, all right, where they're going to become basically like tributaries, you know? Like one brother put it, kind of how we are right now. We're like tributaries. We still got to pay taxes. You know, all the best basically goes to Esau. Everything that we earn, they take, comes right off the top. We don't even get to see it. Well, that's how they're going to be like, all right? And they're going to be subject to our laws. Of course.
Yeah, because we're gonna be in charge.
That's it. That's it.
This is Joshua chapter 23, verse 10. It says, one man of you shall chase 1,000. For Yahweh your power, He it is that fighteth for you, as He hath promised you.
Done. Yeah, so that's it, man. The only way that we're going to be able to do that is if we are given spiritual power, given that strength. Okay? Because right now, we in these chains of darkness, okay? We're tired, all right? These damn devils trying to wear out the saints of the Most High, okay? But through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shai, we're still standing. We ain't ever going to give up, all right? We got that perseverance spirit, man. We just keep going, man. We don't stop. We just keep it moving. And we're going to fight to the end, man, Lord willing. But the point is, the Lord is going to give us strength to literally subdue. Read that again. Right? So I don't get the numbers wrong. But this is a literal statement. This is what we're going to have the ability to do, man. One is going to take down many. Go ahead.
This is Joshua chapter 23, verse 10. One man of you shall chase 1,000.
Yeah, shall chase 1,000. 1,000 can go and flee just by one of us. That's how much power and strength that we're going to have.
Scriptures also say we're gonna run and not grow weary. So we're gonna chase y'all till your death, man. We're gonna run after y'all, and we ain't gonna get tired. Y'all gonna get tired, you know.
Yeah.
It says, for Yahweh your power, He it is that fighteth for you, as He hath promised you.
That's it. And the Lord said that He was going to be our buckler and our shield. Okay? So He's going to literally endow us with spiritual power, with strength, with renewed strength, okay? And newfound abilities where we're going to be able to do these marvelous things, okay? That's it.
Kind of like it says Yahweh, it is that fighting for you. And it's like it says in Romans 8 and 35, I believe, if the Most High be for us, who can be against us? So if Yahweh Shai is fighting for us, who's going to stand against us? Nobody.
Come on.
This brother got a precept.
It's Isaiah 40 and 31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. This is Isaiah 40 and 31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint.
God, like the brother was speaking about earlier, when brothers receive that power, we're gonna have that strength where we're gonna be able to fly. We're gonna, we're not gonna get tired. We're not gonna have human bodies. We're gonna have that spiritual body.
Yeah, we're gonna be bright burns,
Yep.
and we're gonna be ruthless with it too, man. Like, you know how you got the Avengers, you know, they got all these powers, right? But we the real Avengers, and we're gonna utilize that power, that strength the right way, man. We're gonna be ruthless.
Cruel.
Yeah, we're the villains, if you will. You know, all the villains that have superpowers. That's how we're gonna come after you people, man. We're gonna be looked at the villains. That's how much killing we're gonna be fucking doing. We're gonna be Thanos snapping all over you, motherfuckers, man.
Yeah. Ain't no way to say it.
We're gonna snap our finger and just fucking turn you to dust, turn you to powder. And the Lord's gonna do it. The Lord said who's not gonna be utterly beaten to powder at His presence. The Lord's gonna be like Thanos, man, and snap you fucking people out of existence. And He's gonna do that with His people.
Yeah, just imagine being beaten to powder, man.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
imagine that.
You ready to get punched so hard you get turned to fucking dust, man?
Yeah.
You slap someone so hard they fucking turn to dust. You know what kind of fear that's gonna strike into other people?
Yeah.
You're gonna immediately strike fear in the other nations. So if they go out of fucking line, they're gonna know they're gonna get fucking beaten to powder, man.
Hey, metaphorically, we're gonna be like Negan and Lucille, man. When fucking what's his name got his head fucking
Glenn.
Glenn, yeah, he went in, boy.
Yeah, yep.
He disintegrated his whole fucking.
Yeah,
head.
I laughed at that whole scene, man.
Right
His
on,
eyeball
man.
popped out.
Popped out, man. He just kept going in too.
Yep.
Just broke his whole head down, man.
Yep.
You're gonna literally be beaten to powder. That's why we read earlier about how we're gonna receive power over the nations, and we were gonna beat the nations into shivers. That's another way of saying being beaten into powder. Okay, only we're not gonna be doing it with a bat named Lucille. All right, we're gonna have royal scepters. Okay, specifically for the use of beating to pieces you Edomites, you so-called, well, not you so-called, you Moabites, you Ammonites, which are you so-called Chinese and Japanese, you Hamites, okay? You different Hamitic nations, all of y'all, man, because all y'all had a hand in our captivity. Y'all consented against the Lord hidden ones with one consent to cut us off as a nation. You have to pay for that. It's not just the Edomites, it's all the nations. Shit, and you 2/3 niggas, you gotta be stomped out too, man. Don't think we're not coming for you.
Yeah, especially them.
You're like us. You're enemy number one right along the so-called white man. The Lord told you, look, although hand join hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Both shall be thrust through. Both. And ultimately, the thermonuclear missile is going to destroy you wicked ass niggas, you Edomites, and you be the nations. But the Lord going to give His elect men to destroy wicked Israelites too, man.
Especially.
You have to be put to death. There's no light in you wicked 2/3, man. No truth in you.
James chapter 2 and verse 13. For he shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy. And mercy rejoiceth against judgment.
Damn.
Yeah, so Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to show this Edomite, the so-called white man, any mercy because he didn't show us any mercy. You know, when you read about all the atrocities that he committed in slavery and all the atrocities he's committing right now, you know, run up on a Jake and just shoot him in his back for no reason while he's with his kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yep. And then pull up some fucking bullshit story about he did this, he did that. Had the whole fucking
He had a gun.
Yeah, had the whole police force lying on his ass, or lying for his ass. And then meanwhile, they don't release the records and they come to find out the cop fucking lied and they just put his ass on suspension with pay while they investigate, you know? Fucked up, man.
Yeah, like you know, well, it's more known now, but most notably the Central Park Five.
Yeah, yep.
You know, they I forget what you call them, prosecutors.
Uh-huh.
They were on their ass, man. They didn't give them any rights. All right, they deprived them of parental supervision. All right, they held them there. They were hungry. They were desperate. They wanted to just go home and leave and wanted the whole thing to be over. And that's when they started to press them to confess the thing that they didn't even do. Because they had Jake that broken down. And they were just kids, man.
Yeah, children.
And Esau knew exactly what he was doing, man. The opening to that season, the Jake mother said, "Look, shame on you. He's underage. Nobody's here, and you over here, you ain't eating or anything. You getting all these things out of him.
Yeah, beating them up.
Yeah, beating him up. Oh yeah, man. It was messed up, man. You know. And that's just one example, man. How many times has this happened and it wasn't reported on, or it wasn't a series made out of it? Didn't make headlines, didn't make the news.
This is Psalms chapter 73, verse 8. It says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
Yeah, you gotta read that again.
This is Psalms chapter 73, verse 8. It says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
Yeah, like that, the bitch, I forget her name. She was the main one, you know, oppressing Jake's in that situation, you know, just trying to get them.
Pharisees or something?
Yeah, Philistine is so-called Jew, obviously.
The Edomite bitch.
Yeah, Khan. Yeah, most of the people that, you know, was in that case, you know, they went on to have, like, you know, promising careers, benefits.
Yep, that's what they were out for.
Yeah, yep. They enjoyed their life.
Yeah, she was
after
plotting that whole
destroying
time
Jake
too,
life.
because she noticed that first of all their stories weren't lining up. They weren't
Exactly,
making sense.
yeah.
They needed that one confession
Falsified.
to link everything up, and that's what they aimed for. It had nothing to do with pursuing what the truth was, but to get that critical part or portion of one of their confessions, which was all lies anyways, to tie it all in together to build their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the benefits of it. And that's all that they were looking out to do. That's a clear example of what the scriptures say when it says that they speak loftily concerning oppression. And a lot of the times what ends up happening is when Jake is treated over and over, mistreated rather, over and over again, Edomites just say, well, you know, you deserve it. You know, what did you do? No, we ain't just gonna do that for no reason. You know? That's the approach of all Edomites, man. That's how they feel. You know? Like going back to what was it, the 16th Amendment that they eventually ratified, but said that Jake was basically 3/5 of a man. Okay? They called us animals, beasts. You know, they fed our children to alligator bait, or used our children as alligator bait. They strung up our women by the feet, okay, and cut open the womb. I mean, come on, man. This devil has a lot to pay for. They called us savages. That's what the word Indian means. All right? And all kinds of bywords. Yeah, Esau guy has a lot to pay for.
Like I was reading an article, there was one chick on, I believe it was Fox News, and she made a statement, you know, concerning slavery and reparations and all that. She said, we won, get over it. So
Yeah,
you know,
that's it. That's how they feel.
that's how they feel towards, you know, all the atrocities that they committed, all the things we had to endure.
Yep, speak lawfully.
Well, wasn't it Bernie Sanders who basically said the same thing? He said reparations isn't a good idea because, you know, basically what percentage of those individuals who suffered those things and their ancestors are still alive today and blah, blah. Look, basically the bottom line is Esau holds himself not guilty.
Yep.
Because even if you wanted to argue, well, those individuals aren't alive and, you know, we don't know whose lineage goes back to those times and blah, 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 blah. How have you not benefited from those things? And you don't take that under consideration? We're the ones that built this kingdom up. Okay? We are the ones who built this kingdom up. We're the ones that built the railroads. We're the ones that were in those fields harvesting cotton, sugarcane, and all these cash crops at the time which financed the building of this kingdom. It was through our blood, sweat, and tears, our labor, our inventions that you stole that built this place up. Not that we want the fucking reparations, but the point is still being made that this damn devil does not hold himself guilty at all.
That's a lie, though, about they don't know who goes back.
Well, of course it's not
All
true.
you
They-
have to look at our last names
yeah.
and find out.
But that's what he was alluding to. I mean, in order for us to properly, forget what
He
the
said
words gave me.
Yeah, he used the thing about immigration. Well, you have West Africans that have West African names. East Africans and South Africans have those names that take our lands. We have Western American names or Spanish names. So we know our lineage.
Right.
We trace it back to plantation.
I'm not quoting him verbatim, but he was saying basically, in order for us to administer reparations, we would need to know who we're giving them to. And
What?
Quite frankly, we can't do that because we don't know. It's essentially what he was getting. He was given the runaround. Speaking lawfully concerning oppression.
Well, he saw the natural born practice liar.
Yep.
That's what the devil was saying, which is clearly a lie. He has the records based upon what I did, our DNA, and our names. We have generational names
Bible,
that we handed down from our fathers for hundreds of years.
Reparations.
So his last name is Johnson or Rhodes, Callister, McLeod. You know where you came from. You just trace it back.
Right, and boy, Esau even
if
lies.
he could,
Hold on,
if he
Esau
could,
even
he
lies
could.
on that. Esau says that there was only a small portion of Edomites that actually owned slaves to begin with. They just make an excuse for every goddamn thing, man.
Well, we
So you mean to tell me that you didn't rally against one innocent Jake and hang him up, string him up, and burn him alive? You motherfuckers were in there doing those wicked things to Jake just as much as plantation owners, slave owners.
Yeah, even during the segregation area, man.
Yeah, that was a fucking event for y'all.
Yeah.
That was like going to the goddamn movies.
The only reason why Judah Ben Levi was here was for slavery. He wasn't here
Yeah,
for fucking vacation and for work program.
there ain't no denying that.
Yeah, so one of us that were here were here on fucking plantations. What the hell we were here? What else? What other reason we were here for? There's no reason for us to be here if we wasn't working on a goddamn plantation or we're serving in somebody's house or playing damn musical instruments during fucking ballets or events that the Edomites were having, serving tables and shit, working the fields or whatever. That's the reason why we brought over here to the Western Hemisphere. Habakkuk 3. 3, it says, the power came from T-Man and the Holy One from Mount Haran. Selah, glory covered the heavens and the earth was full of his praise. So you look up Esau Edom, it tells you that Esau Edom is the nation of man, nation of people of great future prophecy. There's also a recurring theme about the Edomites being destroyed in the scriptures. Alright, I'm gonna jump down to
I just wanted to grab this quote really quick from Bernie Sanders. It was basically similar to what I had said. It was just a portion of the quote. There's more, but I'm only going to read it just for edification's sake. So this devil said, Sanders indicated on Friday that he does not back a direct payment to descendants of slaves. But it's increasingly unclear whether other 2020 candidates' definition of reparations explicitly includes that either. Which again, we're not worried about no damn reparations, but the point is, the reason why he said that was because they were unsure of who to pay them to. And that's just the biggest bunch of fucking bullshit you'll ever
Yeah,
hear.
but you get all the so-called Jews the reparations.
That's it. That's just it right
so
there.
yeah,
You know, you don't know who is still around of the so-called Holocaust. It never happened, but yet we have a Remember the Holocaust Day. Okay, Americans are paying so-called reparations to the so-called Jews,
Right.
Okay, amongst other things. So that's the hypocrisy of the damn devil, the Edomites. That's all I want to know. We don't even need to read it.
This is Habakkuk 3:12. It says, thou didst march through the land in indignation, and thou didst thresh the heathen in anger. Thou wentest forth for the salvation of the people, even for the salvation
808.
with thine anointed.
808.
Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked by discovering the foundation unto the neck. Salah. And this didn't happen yet. Alright, this is the prayer of Habakkuk. Thou didst strike through with his staffs the head of the villages. They came out as the whirlwind to scatter thee. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. Alright, and that's what Esau does. Esau destroys it secretly by saying you don't. That's a good point. By saying you don't know who descendants of the children in captivity are. It's a damn spit in the face. You know exactly who the children in captivity are.
Yep.
Look at our last names. You know who the children in captivity are. You know we were damn in the plantation or sugarcane field or cotton field or reaping corn or whatever. You know we were here serving slavery, so you know exactly who we are.
Yeah, I don't know if you directly said it or you basically inspired what I'm getting ready to say anyway through the Spirit. How did Judah, Benjamin, and Levi get over here in the first place? Was it by their own free admission? Were they begging to get on those cargo slave ships? No, they were rounded up via the Arabs and the Hamites and sold to the Edomites.
Right. And let's say we were already
They
here.
were forced against it. Well, by the way, a lot of the slaves didn't even make it because they were dying due to this, unsanitary conditions.
Right.
They have a term called tight pack in which, if you go into it, it explicitly shows you the conditions of what they were doing to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi on those cargo slave ships. Basically trying to fit as many in there as they possibly could, knowing the circumstances surrounding that environment, knowing that they weren't going to make it, knowing that they were going to die, knowing that they were going to be disease spread, they're going to have to throw them overboard. And they didn't care. That wasn't about that. It wasn't about whether or not we made it. It was whether or not they could gain, monetarily, financially. Not to mention the very fact that the so-called Jews are the ones that build those goddamn ships.
Yeah, Esau, no matter what, he still had dominion over all the tribes over here in the west. Still had dominion.
Yeah.
And we still being oppressed. Still had the places that only Jacob could go on because of Esau.
The segregation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another. How do I want to say this? That's a very. People say, well, slavery happened a long time ago, and then they'll follow it up with basically get over it. But it wasn't too long where we were still dealing with segregation. That was from the 60s even into the 70s, man. Okay? There was this clip that the brothers sent around on Instagram with.
Slavery was abolished.
In the 1860s. Well, really, actually, it was only abolished up until about 1867. And then from there, all the way through, you had segregation. But it wasn't even fully, completely abolished. Okay? That's what they say. That's what's on the record books. But a lot of the times, what ended up happening was they would capture Jakes and they would falsely accuse them of crime that they didn't commit and hang them and kill them. All right? So we know it didn't really exactly, they weren't emancipated, okay?
There was always segregation. There's just
Right,
segregation
right.
after the so-called abolition.
Exactly. And then so you take that from that to the 1920s, all right? Okay, roughly. And they say that, well, they ended segregation, no more whites only, blacks only. And you take that from the 1960s, and you still were dealing with hangings, shootings. They were using fire hoses. They were sending dogs on us. Okay, so you do the math, man. It's not that long ago. Bottom line, it's not that long ago.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Yeah, and nothing's changed. That's it. And then the brother was making a good point earlier about how anytime you have a situation where a police officer pulls a Jake, the first thing a police officer wants to do is go for his gun. And Jake got his hands up in the air. He ain't even doing anything. So, you know, that's these Edomites, man. Nothing's changed, like the brother said. And we're just highlighting the truth, man.
And they've done social experiments where, you know, Jake will do one thing and they'll have a band of Edomites do the same thing and they get treated 100% differently, you know?
Yeah. So there was an incident that happened, I believe, in the 1960s or 1970s. We can look it up real quick. And the title of it was Rosedale, Queens, where you had these Jakes and they were riding on their bicycles. And you had these gang of Edomites literally pushing them off their bikes, throwing rocks at them, spitting on them, calling them niggers. And the Jakes were giving their account how they weren't even doing anything. It's like the Jake was saying how we don't act like that when whites coming through our neighborhoods. So why is it that we just mind our own business? We're just coming through riding our bikes. They gotta treat us like that, you know? And the Jake was the Jake young female saying, "I will never forgive them for this. I will never forgive them. There's no reason to act like that." Yeah, I sent the video out to you, brothers. So yeah. Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 3, verse 15. That which has been is now, and that which is to be have already been. The Most High requireth that which is past.
Kind of like these Edomites would say, you know, slavery was a long time ago. Get over it. You know, you weren't a slave. You know, you wasn't back there. But the scripture says the Most High requires the past. You know, all the wickedness that your forefathers have committed, you have to pay for that. Which you are your forefathers coming back in a reincarnation, but you have to pay for what you did.
Romans chapter 8 and 18. For I will rebuke that the suffering of the present time
Read that again.
are not. Romans chapter 8 and 18. For I will rebuke that the sufferings of the present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
Yeah, Cut says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." Right, so even though we're suffering right now and we catch hell, we're going through different trials, tribulations, you know, we're toiling in the flesh. You know, if it's not, you know, our enemies that we're dealing with at the job and so on in our daily lives, or even the spiritual fights that we fight on a daily basis, or this flesh holding us down, we're always going through something. We're always toiling, man. You know, ultimately because the Lord is still punishing us because we're in our captivity. I mean, that's just what it is. But that's a bold statement, all right? And it's also an encouraging and joyful one, because even though we go through all this hell, and everything leading up to now we call all this hell, it's still not worthy to be compared to the things that's going to be given unto us. So the kingdom of heaven, spiritual power, okay, receiving women who are not corruptible, all right? There'll be a woman of one man, okay? You know, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, we're gonna have access to minerals and resources and even certain animals and plants and all kinds of resources that haven't even been discovered yet. Not to mention have access to the things that we even know about, the abundance of gold and silver and precious stones, such as rubies and sapphires, emeralds, okay? All the precious stones, man, and we're gonna know the entirety uses of these things, okay? And the vibrations that they carry and how it aids to life, okay? We're gonna have that perfection where we're never gonna go off. We're not gonna be toiling with our own minds anymore. We're not gonna be having to fight these fights that we fight now, man. Laying your head down to go to sleep, and you can't even fucking sleep. And then when you do finally sleep, it ain't a peaceful sleep, it ain't a restful sleep. You know, if you ain't stressing about work the next day, man, you got Satan fucking with you when you're trying to sleep, man. You're stressed out about something, you know, going on. So, I'm gonna read that again. It says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." And that's true. I mean, at the end of the day, Although we have suffered greatly, okay, we have suffered greatly, it is not to be compared to the glory that will be revealed in us in due time, if we be the Lord's elect, man. But we have a lot of precious things that the Lord is waiting to give to us in due time.
One more scripture. One more thing.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
2 Corinthians chapter 4 and 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding in eternal weight of glory.
Yeah, I mean, the afflictions that we face in this kingdom is basically discipline. You catching hell is to constantly remind you of our conditions. Jake has long ago forgotten. Like the brother said, we were brought here to serve captivity. What the hell do you think we're supposed to be doing, man? Living after the ways of the oppressor? Come on, man. Jake got it all wrong. Jake wants to assimilate into a white supremacist society, man, under his terms and conditions. We want the kingdom of heaven. We're saying Esau can keep this bullshit, because him and along with it are going to be destroyed. Go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say, I mean, this is already old news, but you know that whole Kanye West thing where he was talking about how we had a choice. Look, we had no choice, man. We broke the laws. We had no choice but to serve this captivity. We had to serve this punishment. There's nothing that we could have did to not serve this punishment unless we kept the law 100%.
Whether we had a choice or not,
Yeah.
Esau is still the offender.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. He still has to pay. Yes, he still has to pay it regardless. That's what she's talking about there. Prepare slaughter, Isaiah 14:21 for the iniquities of forefathers.
Yeah, that's, got that. Yeah, I think it's better.
This is Matthew 11 and 4. It says, Yahushua answered and said to him, Go and shoot John again those things which ye do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the gospel, and the poor have the gospel preached unto them. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. And scandalizo is the word for offend. Scandalizo. It means to cause to fall away. To cause to fall away. So if you're offended at the word, it means it gives you a reason to fall away. That's what we're bringing it out. So don't be offended at this word. Right? Don't fall away. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended with me. That's it.
Yeah, because ultimately everything that we've gone into is really representative of what Yahushua is going to do. How do we prove that? This is Revelation chapter 19. Because all we're speaking is the words of prophecy. So speaking of offense, all right, because ultimately this word, like Yahushua said, this word is not my own, but it's my Father's up in heaven. So he was just doing the will of his Father the same way we are fulfilling the will of Yahushua. That's the way it works. Okay, so this is Revelation chapter 19, verses 10. It says, And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren, and have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Yahweh. For the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy.
If you ain't bringing out the prophecies, you ain't no prophet. You just read the scriptures. It's 1 Peter 4 and 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which the power giveth, that the power in all things may be glorified. Through Yahushua and Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So if you're not speaking the prophecies, there are new scriptures telling Israel, and the world, really, the meaning of the nation that are in the world, rather, that there's a judgment Esau, Edom, the persecution of Jacob. If you're not saying that and bringing the prophecies out, telling Jacob's trouble, then they're going to come, you're not a prophet. All right?
Pretty simple.
And you have to do better than that. All All right, the scripture said that if your righteousness doesn't exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you should not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Shah. So you have to do better. You have to bring out the prophecies in their entirety. And something there's a great event in the scriptures that we've spoken about. We have to preach that, like the time of Jacob's trouble, those are great events. The revelation of Yahweh Shah and Mashiach. That's a prominent prophecy you have to bring out. If you can't bring that out, you're not a qualified teacher. Right?
Absolutely. And well, you got to understand the succession of prophecy, because everything at one time is and was prophecy. Each to its proper time. Okay.
Right, you have prophecies that came out in the past, and you have still prophecies that haven't come out yet.
That's it.
Like what the scripture says, the prophecy shall fail.
Right. Like if Salakia, if I may say so, not to break your train of thought, but if individuals that try to break down what salvation is and who it's for were to understand what the prophecies were concerning those things prior to that, then they wouldn't be confused as to who it is for in this present time.
Right, like the Gentiles and that whole.
So it all goes back to the understanding of prophecy.
Right, you have to understand the prophecies that are passed already. To understand the prophecies that are going to pass in the future.
That's it. Come on. This is John chapter 4, verses 23 to 24. It says, "But the hour cometh now, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth."
Spirit and truth. Yeah, we have to
Keeping the
we have-
commandments, teaching the prophecies.
We have brotherly love for each other, and since we understand the scriptures, we're not going to recommend that our brothers or our Akim go off and keeping those things that we can keep. We wouldn't teach. We wouldn't actively teach to not keep the commandments to the Akim. All right, that's something that an elect man wouldn't. Something an elect man would do, which is to teach Israel that it's okay to stray from the Lord's commandments. We're supposed to be, Hamashiach like the Hamashiach, the main anointed, which is Yahweh Shai. We're anointed too. We're Christ too, but we're not the anointed one. All right, we're the Hamashiachim, the Christians, the followers that have stepped into the office and our subordinates under Yahweh Shai. We're also anointed too with Yahweh Shai. We're baptized with Yahweh Shai's baptism too. All right. Good.
2 Timothy 2 and 3. Therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. No man that worth tangle himself in the affairs of this world, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Right. Meaning you're not going to be fully engaged into the benefits of the system. You're only going to have certain things within the system.
Yeah.
Like a credit card, a car, a job, but you're not going to be fully engaged in the system.
Right.
If you're especially if you're among the 144,000 prophets, you're going to have, you're going to deal with the world, according to knowledge. You're not going to be fully engulfed. That's 2/3 of Israel's job in the heathen, for them to be fully engulfed into the system. We escape the pollutions of this world, so we're not. It doesn't interest us. Every once in a while, it might be grander, might spark some appeal, but if you're of the elect, that's going to fade away. It's going to be a noticeable consequence. And we believe we are of the elect. We don't know, but we believe. We believe we're striving for the mastery.
The scriptures say to put on as the elect of the Most High. So yes, we are the hopeful elect, but it is yet to be seen whether or not we are the elect. That's for the Most High to decide.
We have to finish the race.
Right. That's it.
So it's still running.
That's it. But we are the hopeful elect because we've been called. And we're putting on as the elect in hopes that we are the elect. And there's nothing wrong with us saying that. And
Satan,
professing that.
Satan can give you a dream that says that you're not of the elect.
Yeah. I don't venture from that. I want to pull a point from there.
Yeah, Satan can tell you that you're not of the elect, and he can make you think that you're doing wicked
Yep.
things in your dreams and visions too. So, and because you have a dream that you're a sodomite or you're you going off keeping the commandments, that doesn't mean that you're not of the elect. That just means that Satan has desire to destroy you. That's all it means.
Yeah. Hey.
Unless you really are a sodomite.
Read that scripture again.
Like the boy, he's really a sodomite.
Oh yeah, the one who keeps going off.
Yeah, he keeps
relapsing.
Relapsing into
Sodomy.
sodomitish behavior.
Sodomy.
And sodomy. It's weird as hell. You relapsing into getting pounded by a dude into your damn. That's disgusting. You relapse into that. That's a hell of a damn trip. That's a hell of a stumbling block.
2 Timothy 2 and 3. Therefore, endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. No man that tangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier.
That's it. So the word there was entangleth. And when you look up that word entangleth, I'm not sure exactly how it translates in the Greek, but it does mean to be interwoven or interlocked, meaning bound. So we're not bound by the things of the world. We're not bound by the things of the flesh. We actually take the opposite approach. We're 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter, which is those that use this world as not abusing it. So we take what we need from the world as means of necessity. Some things are even wants, but it's only under the liberty that the Lord gave us that we fulfill those things. Otherwise, we just keep it moving. We take what we need and we get out.
Yeah, you have
So
to.
I just wanted to make that distinction and break that word down, because that's what it means to endure hardness. Because there are certain things that we may want to do. There are things that we might want to try to accomplish, but we gotta gauge ourselves in the spirit and bear our crosses too. You know, there's certain things that the Lord will not permit certain brothers to do, specifically to keep us straight, to keep us disciplined, to keep us in the race, to keep us in the fight. All right? You know, at the same time, we do have certain liberties, and there's things that we can do, and we make use of those things, but not as a means of just merely taking advantage. You know, do certain things and keep it at a balance, and that's what this whole thing is about. It's being balanced. So, you know, as a metaphor, we just get in, we get out. You know, there's certain things that we might do lawfully, of course, and if it can increase us in the body, then that's what we want to do. That's ultimately what our game and our goal is. Okay, and that's what we want. You know, your younger Aki to understand too. You know, make sure everything that you're doing, the choices and decisions you make, is really for the edification of yourself and the spirit, so you can grow, you can build, right, and you can add on to the body rightly in all things. So, you know, again, the approach that we take is 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter. Those that use this world is not abusing, because we know that the fashion of this world and the things within it languish away, they fade away. This is only temporary.
This is 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
That's it.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever.
God, you're gonna have to start there from the top, and you just orchestrate where you want the brothers to stop and break it down, piece by piece. Go ahead, brother.
This is 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
God, so if any man loves the world, the love of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is not in you. Like, contrary to popular belief, a lot of these Christians, they believe you can love the world and still, you know, be a servant of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which is not the case.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
God, all that is in this world is nothing but wickedness, nothing but homosexuality, you know, trying to get over on people. just nothing but wickedness. So if you love the world, that means you love wickedness.
Love of money spirit. Niggas real quick to throwing away everything for some goddamn FRN notes. When you don't want to keep the Sabbath, you don't want to keep the high holy days, you don't want to not commit adultery, gotta be fucking with some other man's wife, gotta be smoking weed, defiling his temple. But yeah, he'll toil all day, give up whatever he asked and whatever sacrifice for goddamn FRN notes. Alright?
Rock it up.
Or to have a name in this wicked ass society. And anytime you get whatever reputation it is in this kingdom, man, especially what it takes to receive that fame and that fortune, you're off. You're completely off. Like the brother said, you're basically completely contrary to the Yahushua. Because when you look as what it takes to get those things and inherit those things, all right, it's completely evil and wicked. You basically have to be decadent. You can't have any type of moral standards. You have to promote whatever this so-called white man is trying to promote. Which again goes back to homosexuality, lesbianism, love of money spirit, that adultery spirit, that idolatry spirit, do as thou wilt, fornication, yeah.
Some illicit sexual intercourse, idolatry.
They're both spiritually and in the flesh. Yep. Who's up? Slot. Oh no, there's still more to that. Unless of course you got a quick. If it's a quick one, you can get it.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 17. The world is passing away, and the lust thereof. For he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever.
God, like this world is gonna be destroyed, so it wouldn't be no reason to cleave, to latch on to a sinking ship. That's why the men of the Lord, the elect men, Lord willing, we're a part of that elect. We're separating ourselves from this sinking ship. We're jumping off board.
Yeah, reaching for higher ground.
Well, the scriptures say, flee out of the midst of Babylon. So you don't be partakers of the plagues. Right? I mean, get your spiritual self together, so and prepare for deliverance to be saved by Yahushua. It says 1 Peter 4:16. Yet if I suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the power on his behalf. For the time has come that judgment shall begin at the house of the power. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, all the tribes on down.
Fuck.
Issachar, Zebulun, Ephraim. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end of them that obey not the gospel? And if the righteous there to be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of the power commit the keeping of their souls to him in well doing, as unto a faithful creator. Okay, so we're gonna be suffering, we're not gonna stray from the commandment. And shamar, just keep, not wrong. Shamar, keep.
This is in the Hebrew Yiddish.
Keep the Greek here. So beside, near, set aside to place, to entrust, commit oneself charge. Right?
Yeah, like if I may make a statement, we all fall short of the glory of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but where we sincerely and honestly fall short, we have Yahweh Shai as a propitiation for those sins. That doesn't mean we sin willingly. We are to always be mortifying our deeds, meaning put to death, mortifying our deeds in the flesh and our body. So, like it said there, in well-doing. So that's how we keep ourselves in well-doing. Like continuing to keep the commandments in which we're able to keep through faith, in hope that we have Yahweh Shai as our covering when the time comes to be delivered. And so therefore, Lord willing, we will be delivered. We don't occupy ourselves in adding sin onto sin onto sin. If we mess up, we beg the Most High first and foremost for mercy, we repent, meaning we have a change of heart. It's got to be in your mind, man. You can't ask the Lord to forgive you, but you have no sincere, genuine intention on actually changing your ways. All right? Yes, we fall short. We slip up, you know? But there's even restrictions to that. You can't continually add sin onto sin and don't think that there's not going to be a consequence. You know, our Lord, man, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is very loving, okay, and merciful. But there is a point where that mercy can run short if you continue to walk in ways that aren't right and aren't genuinely trying to make a change to do better. All right? So I just wanted to speak to the well-doing. That's how we can keep ourselves in well-doing. The commandments that we can keep through faith, prayer, fasting, and constantly correcting our behaviors and growing. So we can more efficiently and effectively worship Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai with our body, mind, and soul, and our body, mind, and spirit. In truth, right?
It says keep
Well, no, remake the point. Reread the precept.
First Peter's 4:19 is the last verse.
Come.
Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of the power commit the keeping of their souls. As another scripture says, with patience possession of your souls.
That's it. Yeah, come on.
Which is what a moral high ground.
That's it.
What we were taught.
Come on.
That's the keeping of our soul. That's what it means. You have to have the spirit to understand. As Christians might those false Christians, they might think that means something else.
Right. Well, the word in your patience, possess ye your souls. The word patience means the quality and ability to suffer. The scriptures say that through much tribulation we shall enter into the kingdom. So the reason why we go through sufferings and tribulation is so that we can continue to be proven to be worthy to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So you can throw that prosperity doctrine out the window and just love everybody and everything is fucking kumbaya and this, that, and the third, because the truth is the Lord constantly puts us in adversity to keep us straight, to keep us disciplined, to keep us in line, to keep us walking that straight gate. And it ain't always going to be pleasant, but it is necessary for us to continue to move forward and grow and be strengthened.
And to keep our souls, we have sukhe, which means feeling, desire, affection. So we hate what the Lord hates, we love what the Lord loves, seek, desire, affection.
Come on, yeah. That's it.
Moral being. Soul in so far as it's constituted that by the right use of aids offered it by God, it can attain its highest end and secure eternal blessedness. So back to the morals, what we talked about. Right, wrong, good, and evil. Go back to morality.
Got a precept for you?
Desire, affection. Yep.
This is Amos chapter 5. Verse 14, seek good and not evil, that ye may live. And so the Lord, the Most High of hosts, and so the Lord, the power of hosts, shall be with you as ye have spoken. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate.
Yeah, that's how you possess your soul. You keep your soul. You don't forsake your morals. You don't forsake your morals, your first love, okay? Which is with the wisdom. It's our first love. Yep.
God, hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord, power of hosts, will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph.
Right, so that's how we keep our souls. That's how we possess our souls.
God.
Our souls contain everything that's good. In this respect, is everything that's good and right, according to the Spirit, the gospel. It's in the book. That's in the Bible. All right. Well, the Bible is just a record of the Lord's Spirit. All right, just a record. All right. The Spirit actually dwells in our brain, in our body. So, when we read these words, we remember what we were taught in the past and what is our right. All All right, our right, this is our right, this knowledge. Because Yahweh said so. It is our right. All right. It is not the right of the heathen. That's why the heathen don't have an inheritance in our building. All right. The heathen do not have any inheritance in our building. They don't have a right to inherit. They don't have a right to the knowledge of the tree of life. You know? They don't have a right of knowledge of this wisdom, the Holy, receiving the Holy Spirit, understanding the scriptures. Only the Israelites do. All of Israel. Any precepts?
Yeah, because you made that statement about this only being the nation of Israel. And at least we forget these are living words because they were spoken by the Most High through Yahweh Shai. So while yes, it is a record, this is known as the Spirit itself. Like the Lord said, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, they are life. The words that were spoken through the Most High, through the prophets, and through Yahweh Shai is literally living words. These are actually commandments of the Heavenly Father, therefore they literally are alive. They're literally living words. This is what reinvigorated us. This is what brought us back to who we were. This is what gave us that life, that energy, that rejuvenation, okay? And pulled back the veil, really through faith first, but it's what put that life, that spirit, that soul back within us, is the words of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So with that being said, this is Psalms 147 and 18. It says, He showeth His word unto Jacob, His judgments and His statutes unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation, and as for His judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's it.
They don't have the right to the gospel. Right? Only Israel does. And whatever we give them, it's going to be by the will of Yahweh Shai at their appointed time.
God, this is Psalm 78 and 5. It says, For He established a testimony in Jacob and appointed the law in Israel, which He commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children.
Right, so it's a heritage, not a so-called religion, so to speak, as people say the religion. They think it means. It's a heritage, so that's why only the Israelites have a right to the gospel.
It says that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in the Most High, and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep His commandments.
Right, nowhere does it says that God so loved the world. All right, the world that's referring to in John 3:16 is referring to the Israelites.
That's true.
All right, so we can say God loved all the nations on the earth. It
Right.
says the right of the knowledge belongs to the Israelites only. It doesn't belong to Esau, Edom, or the heathen.
Yeah, what you just said went over a lot of people's heads. It does say world, okay? But you need to understand and define and distinguish what that world means. What that world is. And you're going to come to find out that world is referring to the Israelites. Okay? We're the orderly arrangement.
It's First Peter 4.
We're the cosmos.
1 Peter 4:15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. You got a problem with that in Israel too. A lot of as a busybody, yeah, let's remember this up. As a busybody,
Like
it
fucking
says
8-3. Well, down the clock.
that's a long word. One who takes the supervision of affairs and pertains to others, as pertains to others. One who takes the supervision of affairs pertaining to others, and in no wise to himself, and a meddler in other men's affairs. All right. So key point is, if you don't do this, you will cause a lot of contention by not minding your own business. All right. Talking to one guy, other guy getting involved. He had minded his fucking business. He never got involved in the situation. He just kept it moving. You got certain guys that involve themselves in things that don't pertain to them. Right? One who takes the supervision in affairs in affairs pertaining to others. All right? A meddler in other men's affairs, a busybody. All right? You have a guy that's just came into the truth in 1 year, and he's trying to sit with an elder that's been in the truth for 12 years.
Yeah.
We got a guy that's been in the truth for 2 years, he's trying to sit with an elder that's been in the truth for 9 years or 10 years. All right? Of course, they have
Well, the scriptures say not to set yourself equal to basically great men, or the wise.
right, because the younger brother has a duty and responsibility, the elder brother has a duty that's not, responsibility of a younger man to take on the responsibility of
Not thyself
a
equal.
person that has other duties. That's not it's none of the brother's business, Ox business. A meddler in other men's affairs, doing too much. I did a video on that a couple weeks ago. Some idiot assholes didn't like that. All right? To whom it may apply, if it didn't happen, then it's not talking about you. All right? Some guys that do too much and don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I mean that's an important point to make. You got to stick within your ability. We're all at different levels.
Oh yeah.
With rank comes level. And by levels I mean different levels of understanding. Your understanding, if you're first year in, is not equivalent to the guy who's been in it for 10 years. So you need to virtually stay in your lane and stick within your ability of what you're able to do and perfect that. First of all, you don't get to the next level if you don't perfect the level that you're at. If you think you're gonna be able to jump, listen, you're gonna crash and burn real quick.
Like trying to learn. I was trying to teach my younger brother, not little, he's 18, but teaching him how to drive. And he don't even know which way, how much to turn the wheel to get around the corner. Or foot brake control.
Right. Yeah.
Brake control, pedal, throttle control. Can't do it. So we're gonna take him 20 lessons just to get proficient on the lower end. Because he's not mechanically inclined or anything, so that's even worse. You don't understand the mechanism of a car, so that's completely alien to you. You can't just jump behind the wheel and go on a damn 100-mile road trip.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get fatigued, you're gonna get nervous, and you're gonna fucking end up crashing, hitting some shit. And fatigue is really the main thing. When you first learn how to drive, you're very stressed out because first of all, driving is not even natural anyway. But use it as an example. It's very stressful in your mind because you have to pay attention to the road, the cars, the signs. It's very stressful.
Right, and
you get fatigued very easily.
And where
you don't have
people
the ability to consistently keep going. You have to take. That's why every time you went around the block, told him to pull over, park, get out the car, walk around the car. But then get back in the car and drive away because it fatigues you. It mentally fatigues you.
Right.
All right. Everybody's not built. Some people just can't fucking be. You may never be able to get built up. Hopefully you will, but sometimes this word is not for everybody. That's why some men resign their post. You may never get on a certain level. You might just be stuck in gear on the first gear. And I said it wasn't important going fast. I said focus on staying between the yellow line and the cars. Don't hit the damn cars on the left, and don't go beyond the yellow line. Don't hit the cars on the right. Don't go beyond the yellow line on the left. You have to be right in the right position.
That's it.
Propel forward.
Well, you have to.
And don't go too fast either, because it's not about speed. It's about not hitting the damn cars on the left and the right. Well, the scriptures say that. It said turn not to the left or to the right. Remove thyself from evil. I believe Proverbs say that.
Right. Well, speed is a part of the process as far as where it is set in place. As far as steps that you need to take before you get there, it's further down the line.
Yeah, if you're in first gear, you shouldn't be going 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If you're in first gear, you should be going between 0 and like 15 miles an hour.
That's it. Yeah,
Then as you go up gears, and you can go faster.
Con, if I can find this precept real quick to basically back up, because through vain suspicion, an individual's judgment can be overthrown.
You want that?
Cause it's almost like if you see somebody do it, sometimes you kind of assimilate to the idea that, oh, I can do that. That's easy. You know, he ain't doing nothing. But then when you're actually doing it and you're trying to mimic what it is that you saw, it's not as easy as what you thought. You know, but even then, you know, pride might get the better of you, and you still thinking you could do something that you really can't do. You will crash and burn. And a lot of guys, instead of just taking correction and humbling themselves down and going about it the proper way, you know, and learning the right way, slowly, incrementally, and, you know, you have to complete level 1 before getting to level 2, you know, in layman's terms, and basically grow the right way, then you're gonna mess up, man. You're gonna mess up, and if you harden your neck, then the Lord's gonna destroy you too. So you have a lot of guys like that. They think that they can skip steps, and they're still continuing to make the same mistakes and even worse mistakes. They never correct them, and then they're gone. They're bugged out, man. The demons got the better. Just a little portion of that. Yeah, read that, and then I want him to read this.
Sirach 3.
And we can basically start getting our closing precepts. Go ahead.
Sirach 3 and 24, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment.
Right, yeah. I mean, through not being disciplined, okay, and not going things about the right way, all right, that's what ends up happening, you know? So you can't judge simply on, well, if he can do it, I can do it. That's not the way this thing works, okay? This takes years of discipline. It takes, you know, years of examine. A lot of guys don't even want to examine themselves, okay? They think that because they know a couple precepts that they all of a sudden are these wise individuals. Well, what about those youthful sins that are still plaguing you?
The fucking chair.
You might know how to break down Jacob and Esau, but have you done anything to build your character? Are you still a nigger, man? You still got that nigger mentality? I don't give a fuck if you could break down Genesis 25. If you're still a nigger is that. I mean, that could break down Genesis 25. And what good does that do? But he don't know how to listen to order.
Well, you got some guys.
And he's out there fucking basically being a liability to himself and everybody around him because they don't know order. So what good is it to know certain scriptures if you don't know the basic principle things, all right, to keep you stable, to keep you fundamentally stable in this thing? Because when it comes to the application of the things that you're learning, that's what's most important. It's not just mimicking a breakdown. Yes, it's important that you know these things for yourself. But how can you truly know these things for yourself if you're not applying them in your own life and being built up thereby? So read that one more time and make your point. And I want him to read something. Slide.
Yeah, this is book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 24. It says, without
Lift up your voice a lot.
it says, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment.
Come on.
Yeah, evil suspicion and overthrown their judgment. Meaning they get an evil thought in their head and said that you're better than the next guy.
Yeah.
That's what's one.
He can do it.
That's
I
just
can do
one.
it.
That's just one thing.
Yeah. He can do it. I can do
better
it.
than you.
Yeah.
I'm saying no, you can't.
The big thing in Israel is that pride demon, you know? A lot of guys got that pride demon. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, which is exalted above, measure where they shouldn't be exalted. Pride means to be lifted up high-minded. People say be not high-minded, but condescending to the low. So, we just found, Hebrew Israelites. We know we have a advocate with the Father, Yahweh Shai and Mashiach, the righteous. We sin, so we know that we're not above our masters, according to the flesh or in the spirit. So,
Not every Israelite understands that. So that just goes to show you how plagued they are, man. Demons. A lot of guys don't even know that they got demons on them.
yeah, we're not gonna go into.
That's what's crazy. But I mean, you don't even realize like they're not examining themselves, like putting things into perspective. Like, first of all, I'm new to this thing, and see, when you start first coming into this truth, just real quick, those demons that are on you are going to challenge you. That's the thing. That's why it's so important to be applying the things that you're learning. Okay, and looking at the examples of prophets before and how they handled situations and the way that the brothers around you are handling situations, and to get help if you need it spiritually, like, hey, brother, I'm kind of dealing with something. What would you recommend to do? You know, some things are personal, some things are private, and you got to work it out yourself through the Spirit. But there's also instances where you really need the guidance, but you think you got this, and guess what ends up happening? Them demons fucking chew you up and spit you out, and you end up being worse than you were. So I just had to say that, man. A lot of guys don't even know that they fucking got them demons trying to challenge them, and they're being swallowed up, you know, taken in their own craftiness, basically. All right. I'm on.
So, Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 32, verse 9. If thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words.
Yeah. You're not equal. That's the whole thing. You should automatically know that. I'm not gonna go amongst the other apostles and try to sit exactly where they sit. That's just fucking stupid. That dude did that. That role.
You got a lot of guys that
The
do
great
crazy shit, man.
one, which he did that, and the other apostle corrected him. Oh, you're not an elder.
You got a lot of guys like that. You know, that's why they come up against the apostle. All of a sudden, they're wrong. They made themselves equal to great men. They choked on that.
And even if you are an elder, you still not the main
The apostles,
Right. Yeah.
or the main elders under the apostles.
Yeah.
8 and 2.
You got it,
I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto ye were not able to bear it, neither yet now are ye able.
Kind of like a lot of guys, when they come into this truth, they try to take on more than they can handle, you know? And you gotta take it step by step, you gotta take it slowly. Like when a baby is born, they drink milk, you know, they're not eating, you know, steak, you know, eating lobster, you know, lobster is unlawful, but they're not eating meat, you know, they're eating, you know, easily digestible things.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
Hold up.
So you gotta enter in that straight gate. You know, we have a blueprint that's been laid out for us, you know, through the scriptures, through the life of Yahweh Shai. You know, the examples our apostles have set for us. So you gotta go through that straight gate, you know, that blueprint that's been laid out. And a lot of guys try to deviate from that. You can't deviate from what you know works, you know?
In a position of difficulty, that's what it means by straight gate, in a position of difficulty. You know, you don't want to lean too far to the left or too far to the right. Or like I gave the analogy, you're gonna crash and burn. That's exactly what's gonna happen. I mean, that's why it takes real discipline. You know,
Like you in a car, you got the GPS already on, nigga don't know where he's going, you know, taking turns, making turns he's not supposed to be making, you know, and he's all love.
Right. They start asking other heathens for directions. And they keep leading in the wrong direction.
on a narrow roadway where you can't afford to make any errors, there could be the end of it. To top it off. Anybody else? All right, so with that, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Lord's elect. Wa, Abad, Babal.
Abba, Babal.
Shalom, my
Shalom.